What's up, everybody? Greg Simpson here with Out Fast Realty and Investments, and I bring to you a new edition of the Whiteboard Wednesday. And so this episode, I'm going to talk to you guys about what we do a little bit differently here in a different aspect. So y'all have heard the term of thinking outside the box, right? And that's a lot of what we do here. You usually have this type of a box for a real estate transaction. Let's go ahead and even put a roof on it because we're talking about housing. So one thing that you have to understand is that about 80 to 85% of all real estate transactions end up in this box. So what happens is there's obviously this 15% right here that doesn't fit inside the box. And I'm going to explain to you a couple of the situations that might happen. We actually have two houses that three right now that we're working on that fit way outside the box. They probably fit into a 1% category of being outside the box. So let me give you an example. This is the 85% here. This is your normal listing agent who you're going to call to put your house on the open market. They're going to put it on the multiple listing service, and also known as the MLS. You're going to have people that have a buying agent, and they're basically going to marry that deal together. Listing agent is working with you, the seller, or buyer's agent is working with you as the buyer. Everything goes normal as a transaction. You're getting a loan from a bank, or you're getting a loan from a mortgage broker, and the transaction is everyday, normal, exactly what you would expect. But this 15% here are the ones that don't fit that criteria. And I'm not just talking about off-market cash transactions. I'm talking about complicated deals, because cash transactions, even when they're off-market, still really do fit inside this box, okay? This 15% are off-market deals that don't fit that criteria. So one of the things I'm going to talk to you guys about is something called a subject to deal. Now, I'm not going to go into details of subject twos, but subject twos are simply what used to be known as assumable mortgages, where now it's called a subject to the existing mortgage on the transaction. It's a different kind of contract. It's a different kind of deal. In this situation, I, as an investor, would look to you to take over your mortgage, take over the house, I should say, subject to the mortgage that you have in place. What that means is that basically you're looking for massive debt relief, okay? So these are very complicated deals. They include us getting involved with our attorneys to make sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's, but this is something that would never go through a typical transaction through the MLS with your normal real estate agent. Other things that we would do is lease options. Okay, so sometimes people want the debt relief, but they don't necessarily want to give up the deed of the house, and that's totally fine because, again, that's really complicated. Lease options are very simple, and we do these here at Out Fast as well. So what happens is instead of selling the house, what they do is they lease the property to me, and they give me the option to buy that at a later date, typically 2 to 5 years down the road, because maybe they're upside down on the house, but the house still cash flows. Again, maybe I'll explain this in another video at a later date. But a lease option, what I do is they lease me the property. They rent me the property for a period of a couple of years. Okay, still using our attorney to make sure that we have all of our T's crossed and I's dotted. And so what happens, they lease me the house for $1,000. I'm now on the hook as the investor to pay that $1,000 a month every single month. And then at the end of the term, I have the option to purchase it for $150,000, okay? So what happens is I'm going out there to the marketplace and I'm finding people who have a substantial down payment, but they can't get qualified at a bank because their credit may suck. So if you're someone out there that has not so great credit, but might have like $5,000 to $10,000 down, you could fit into one of our lease option programs. And what that means is that we're going to lease the property to you for about $1,300, $1,400, whatever market rent is, maybe a little bit more, but whatever. We're going to lease you that property, and we're going to make that little bit of a difference, that $200 to $300, sometimes up to $400 a month. But guess what? That's not going to fit in that box either. So that's another one, okay? Here's another one. Owner financing. Owner financing is where you as a seller, you own the property free and clear. You owe no mortgages on it. You've owned that property for a while, or you paid cash for it and everything like that. But you don't maybe want to list it with a realtor and pay the 6% commission plus the closing costs. Maybe you just want to get out of the deal, but you don't really want to give a discount to a cash investor. But yet maybe the house is worth $180,000, so you don't want to list it and pay 6%. You don't want to go to a cash investor like the We Buy Houses kind of guys and then have to sell a house for 140, you'll sell it to someone like me for 180, but we get better terms. You become the bank in that situation. We win. Work with our attorney to make sure everything is set up properly. Again, crossing the T's, dotting the I's. And basically, that owner then sells me the property. We go to the closing with our attorneys and our title company. And what then happens is that person becomes the bank. That person is now Chase. That person is Wells Fargo or PNC or any of those big banks or anything like that. And they're making monthly interest on that property just like you would normally pay a bank. But that's all transactions that we can do here at Out Fast Investments and Out Fast Realty. And so these are just a small example of some of those 15% deals that don't fit inside the normal 85% box. So if you are a real estate agent and want to learn how to do these kinds of deals, make sure you reach out to us, shoot us an email, click the link, make sure that you follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, and we have all sorts of videos like this. And if you're looking to grow your business, explode your business in real estate as a real estate agent or an investor, make sure you come work with us here over at Out Fast Realty and Investments. We're changing the game, we're doing big things, and this is the kind of stuff that we get passionate about, and we love teaching our agents because this is the stuff where you actually, guess what? You make way more money than playing inside the box sometimes. So guys, hope you enjoyed this Whiteboard Wednesday. We'll see you on the next episode.